guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. Today I'm talking about tantrums and meltdowns with our kids. Oh, these can be super frustrating and really hard to deal with, and I've got a few questions from some of the people that follow me online, and they're just asking, how do I deal with my kids' meltdowns? So I'm doing a video on it today, and I want to talk about really those kids who are in those late preschool to primary school years. So they're about 3 or 4 years old to 8 or 10 years or so. So that's the age we're talking about, and I want to go through a fair few really simple but powerful strategies that are really underpinned by emotional intelligence that you can use with your kids, because we know literally, I think on the daily, my kids have meltdowns or tantrums about one thing or another, and I am learning all the time. I've been using some of these strategies in my therapy and coaching for a number of years and using them with my kids, and they are quite effective. So I want to share them with you guys and see whether they can help you too. So if you haven't joined me before, my name is Steph Pinto and I'm an emotional intelligence coach, and I just have this aim that I want to create kids and parents who are more calm and more emotionally connected and just really balanced using emotional intelligence, because this stuff we know is really powerful, and they're simple, quick little changes in your life that really affect the relationships with everyone around you. So let us jump straight into it. I just want to kind of preface this with the concept of cognitive development for these kids is totally different for us compared to us as adults. So we have to remember that kids this age, in the preschool, primary school age, are very egocentric, and that's normal. Keep that in mind. Don't hold it against them. I know it's frustrating, but this is where their brain development is at. So they're egocentric. They also are developing their logical reasoning skills, and they are still working on their emotional regulation. So yes, it's stuff we can help them with, but it's really hard for them. Their brain just isn't there yet. They don't have those connections. So we've got to really be patient. First of all, be patient and just know that they are getting there with your support. So I want to kind of quickly tell you about the two types of discipline that parents often fall into when their kids are going through these meltdowns and tantrums. The first is like a really controlling type of discipline. So sometimes it can be really harsh, and it kind of aims for obedience, and it doesn't embody any of that empathy and compassion that other styles do. So that's a really controlling kind of parent. And I think, you know what, we all have those days where we just need to get out of the house or get in bed or whatever, and we just kind of control our kids. I know, I've done it. So the second type is like a guiding type of discipline. So it's helping your kids manage those meltdowns and tantrums by trying to guide them and show them how to manage it and how to deal with it on their own or with your support. So really that's being quite respectful with the kids. It's being patient. It is showing compassion and empathy and understanding. And I think it always comes down to seeing these episodes or tantrums as opportunities for connection and teaching, really, because that's what we are for our kids. We're trying to teach and help these little humans grow into adults. So I've got a couple of really cool sayings. They've stuck with me. I wonder if they're going to stick with you. The first one is strike when the iron is cold, and I'll tell you about that because usually we talk about striking when the iron's hot. And the other one is when someone is drowning, it is not the time for swimming lessons. And I love that one because I'm like, oh yeah, I know that when kids get to that like level 100 where they're in the red zone and they're out, like, it's not the teaching time, it's not the time for discussing and giving them options and talking about their behaviour and emotions. Like, they are past that level. So keep those in mind because they help me to manage my own emotional intelligence and to be able to help my kids better when they're having those meltdowns and tantrums. So in the moment, there are several things that you can do. The first one is definitely try to avoid getting into a power struggle with your kids, where they say something and you try to up them or you try to control, and then they say, but no, I want this, and then you come back with something. That is never going to win. So try to avoid that power struggle. Come from a perspective of understanding and compassion. The second one is just to get down to their level and really model a calm manner, a calm, quiet voice, so that you're being the beacon of light of what the kids are trying to aim to get back down to. So when they're shouting and yelling, try to keep calm and just be really understanding when you're raising your voice and shouting against them, like you're just building until it blows up again. So they're the first ones. Another one is have some really good active listening skills. And active listening is just basically being able to listen really carefully to what they're saying, if they're saying something, listen between the lines, rephrase or reframe back to them what they're saying. So if they're like, I failed this test and I'm never gonna do well at school, you can say, wow, it sounds like you're really worried because you failed this test or did really poorly. Is that right? So just you being able to rephrase that back is going to be really powerful. A couple of other things are know some things that calm your kids. Everyone has different things. And once you have that in like a toolkit, pull them out at the time when they're getting frustrated or they're about to have a meltdown. And I think before they're in that red zone, give them what we call like a binary choice, an option of two things that you know they're going to love. Not when they're in that red zone, but like when you can see they're getting frustrated, something's going wrong, say like you need a circuit breaker. Okay, guys, what can we do now? Do you want to go and do a puzzle or turn the TV on? Because it just breaks that circuit of whatever's going wrong with them. It's kind of like a cut it and let's distract. And then later you can talk about what went wrong. So they are some really good ones. When they're at that like red zone, level 100, like the peak of their behaviour or meltdown or whatever, often, like I said, there's no teaching time. It's really frustrating, and it can be really hard to do, but sometimes you have to say, if you can find a gap in there, I'm here for you, come and get me when you're ready. And sometimes I need to get out because I'm like, I really can't manage this anymore. I'm trying to help you and you're just not coming to the table. So it's okay to safely leave them where they are if they are safe and they're not going to hurt anyone or themselves, and just take 2 minutes out, because sometimes that's all they need to calm themselves down, is just that time. And sometimes you can't calm them. So it's okay. It is okay to be like, I'm going to be over here, come and get me when you're ready or when you need a hug or whatever. So they're the kind of main ones. The last thing I really want to say is there is always or most often there is a pattern of behavior, and it can be very hard to find. And in my days of being a therapist and looking at kids' behavior, I would fill in this really powerful form that looked at what happened before the behavior, what happened during the behavior, the specifics of what went on and who did what, and then afterwards what happened, how they calmed down and stuff like that. And you would be able to see usually patterns. Sometimes it was hard for the parents to pick, but someone outside the family or outside the situation could come in with a fresh lens. So that's really interesting. If you can pick some patterns of, wow, every time my kid goes to this friend's house, or every time we play this game, it's like ends in a volcano. So there's some really powerful kind of tips. And I think the last couple of things I want to leave you with is, please try not to poke fun at or make light of these emotional situations. Kids will remember this stuff, even if it's not consciously. They know when they've been told to just get over it, or, oh, you're being such a baby, or why are you even crying over this? It's not a big deal. So really try not to do that. Come in with some empathy and some understanding for your kids as well. Okay, so they are my best kind of tips and strategies. And honestly, even if you just pick a couple of those things and you put them into practice consistently with your kids, you will see some improvement in either it's the frequency of their meltdowns and tantrums or the severity of them. And either of those is really a win-win for your kids to start developing those emotional regulation skills. What I want to do in a separate video is talk about some really key ways to help develop your kids' emotional regulation skills, and that's things like looking at how their body feels when they're becoming frustrated or anxious or worried, or a bit silly, like in that yellow zone, and then moving into the red zone of getting like angry, furious, whatever, and then giving them some coping strategies to use that are age appropriate and that are tailored to them as well. So I'm going to do that in a separate video. Let me know if you guys are interested in any other thoughts from today. And please as well, it would really help me if you guys can leave some comments below and like this video. And also I would love if you subscribe so that you don't miss any other videos that I'm putting out soon. Okay? Alright guys, till next time, thank you again for watching and I'll see you later. Bye!